there. On to another record update. I don't know if I'm gonna get a lot of more records in the next couple of weeks because I'm gonna get my car to the garage for a yearly checkup, and I have to work on days that I'm normally free. Anyway, I'm gonna pick the CDs first. This is the stuff I found last week. First up, it's the debut album by Heather Nova on CD. It's called Glow Stars. It's from 1993. It's pretty, mellow singer-songwriter stuff. Pretty decent. This is awesome. Yellow. This is 1980 to 1985. The new mix in one go. It's got all their major hits and a lot of great tracks on it as well. In one non-stop remix. Yellow, awesome Swiss band. And I found Crisscross, Totally Crossed Out. I love the track Jump, and this was 75 euro cents, so for that track alone it's worth it. The other stuff is pretty decent. Then I found the following albums. I'm going to turn the volume down a little. This is the first 4 records I'm going to show you. 5 records are records I found just I think a half hour ago, maybe. First one is Andrea Crouch Andrea Crouch and the Disciples. I don't know how to pronounce her first name. It's called Soulfully. It's on the Light record label. I didn't know it. It's gospel soul. It's pretty okay. It's got tracks like Leave the Devil Alone, He Proved His Love to Me, and Oh, I Need Him. And it's really gospel, basically. And, well, it looked interesting and soulfully. I thought it was great soul music, or it could be great soul music. I picked it up. It's, like I said, it's decent. Then, French composer André Pop. I picked this up because I have other stuff by André Pop, and André Pop is a freaky weirdo on those records. Experimenting with loops, experimenting with samples before samples even existed. The stuff that I'm talking about is mid-50s, and he became real mellow, I guess, because this is from 1968, and it's called Love is Blue, or L'amour est bleu, and it's rather standard loungy pop music. It's okay, if I knew it was this kind of loungy stuff, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. There you have it. That's André Pop. My first Kiss record, Dynasty. I didn't have any Kiss in my collection, so I picked it up for 50 euro cents. Yeah, I don't need to explain much about this album. Either anyone knows it, or has it, or, well, there you go, Dynasty. I picked this up even though that I knew that first 2 albums of this guy are amazing and are albums I'm really looking forward to finding, but this is the 4th one. This is Bob James with BJ4. The first 2 albums that he did, the first one was called 1, the second one was called 2. Those are funk jazz albums that blow you away, literally. Heavily sampled by a lot of hip-hop artists. There's the sleeves. This is 1, this is 2. I don't know much about that one though. This is the 3rd one. This is more jazzy, slightly disco, funky kind of crossover, and it's okay, but I just wished I had found those 2. I hope to find them. They're amazing. I also found today Steeleye Span. This is Below the Soul. It's on Chrysalis. I thought it was. I might have heard of this band, but I thought this was like prog rock, but it's not. It's folk music, and the kind of folk they play, as you can see from the sleeve, is medieval folk. It's classic, traditional folk, British folk music, and it's okay. It's pretty decent. You know, I just like crazier folk better. So this is nice. So this is what I found today, and this is what I found in the last week actually. This is the debut album by Focus, called In and Out of Focus. Focus, prog band from Holland, featuring Jan Akkerman on guitar. That's him, and Thijs van Leer with those keyboards, and that's the yodeling on Hocus Pocus, which is not on this album, by the way. But this is a great album, a great band, and you know, they rightfully were pretty big in the 70s around the world, especially with the Hocus Pocus track. That's been you know, an amazing track. It's a good album. Another really good album, I'm the Man by Joe Jackson. I just love Joe Jackson, and he's got a really nice voice, and his compositions, his songs are just really good. I can't say too much about it, except that I like it a lot. I picked this up because it looked nice. It's on the Soul label, which is a subsidiary of Motown. It's Jimmy Ruffin, and the album's called The Groove Governor. There's Jimmy. And this is just soul music. I hoped it would be more funky, but it's not. This is from 1970. It's just good, plain, standard kind of soul music. Like I say, it's good. It's nothing too fancy. This, however, I like. Even though it's late period Sly, this is Sly and the Family Stone, back on the right track, from 1979. A lot of the funk artists in the late 70s went disco. He has, I think, one or two moments that it goes a little into that direction, but it still remains funky. So it's a good album, not to be compared with his early stuff, because that is amazing. This is just good. Another soul artist, Al Wilson. This is Show and Tell. It's on the Rocky Road Records label, which I've never heard of. And it's again decent soul music. You know, just solid soul. I cannot stress how good soul can be, and this is good, but it's not. It doesn't blow me away yet. So, but I pick stuff like this up because it looks nice. I kind of slowly getting more into soul and funk and, you know, the late period, late 60s, early 70s stuff. So, this is another one, Betty Wright, wife. I am not a big fan of disco music, and this is basically a disco album. It's a live album, and that's another thing I'm not too fond of. But it got mentioned, I don't know where, but someone mentioned it. And it has some really good tracks on it. Tonight's the Night, that's a really good track. But I don't know what they did with the live recording. Somehow I get the idea that they pushed forward the whole audience sound. So you hear constantly, throughout every song, you hear people going apeshit, and I don't mind that, but it distracts from the music. So it's okay, you know. It's not. I don't like live albums. I basically had Nirvana on the Muddy Banks of the Wishkap, sold that, didn't like it. Radiohead's live album, gone. Why? Because I don't listen to it. But on vinyl, I tend to be more forgiving and get it, but still, it's not something I'll put on a lot. in a lesser degree, that also counts for this album. This is the Modern Lovers Live. I love the Modern Lovers. They're amazing, especially the early 3-4 albums that they did. This is from 1977, so it's sort of a compilation of the first 2 albums, maybe 3 albums. It's got a lot of really funny songs on it. I'm a Little Airplane, Ice Cream Man, Egyptian Reggae. Every song on here is just a lot of fun, and it shows. I mean, Jonathan Richman, that's him. He interacts with the audience and tells jokes, and it's a lot of fun. Except I won't be putting this on too often because I rather put on the studio albums. But still, it's worth getting if you like the Modern Lovers, or if you don't know the Modern Lovers, try them. They're really, really funny and amazing. This is Nashville Skyline by Bob Dylan. This basically just stood there. I needed to have this. It's got Lay Lady Lay, and it's a pretty decent album. It's country. It's more country-based music from Bob Dylan, and that is something, again, that I'm not too familiar with or too fond of. So it's a good album, but it's not an album that blows me away. So far, Bob Dylan hasn't blown me away, but I need to get his early albums because I know those will be amazing. This one, it's pretty decent. You know, if you like Dylan, you'll like this. It's got Johnny Cash on one track. So, yeah, it's okay. This is playing in the background. They Call Me Mr. Tips by Sidney Poitier. He stars in it. This is Quincy Jones who composed it. I got this from a friend. He had 3 copies, and basically he said, like, you don't have this? You want it? I'm like, yeah, okay. And it's good. It's just pretty decent soundtrack music by Quincy Jones. Instrumental, jazzy, funky, soulful. Quincy Jones, awesome composer. So there you go. Those were the like second-hand albums that I got. The next batch of 6 records are records I bought last Friday at a 20% discount sale evening at a major sort of entertainment store here in Amsterdam. I don't live in Amsterdam, but in Amsterdam. And they had 20% discount on everything in their store. So I found the following. This is SF Sorrow by The Pretty Things, an album that I've been wanting to hear completely for a long time, and now I have it. It wasn't expensive at all. I guess it was about 11 bucks, 11 euros, and then the 20% went off it as well. So there you have it. The Pretty Things. Then I also found the Mars Volta. This is Octahedron. It's their double album on white vinyl. I haven't listened to this, but you know, I have one album by them. I forgot the name. Sorry about that. But I love that. You know, I just like this stuff. It's good stuff. I also picked up LCD Soundsystem. This is happening. I have the other stuff on CD, and I never bothered getting this on CD because I always thought, you know, I'll get it on vinyl eventually. As you can see, I did. It's a double album gatefold, and yeah, it's just an amazing band, taking a lot of the 80s post-punk sounds and funky rhythms from bands like ESG and Liquid, and even the Talking Heads, and then mixing them into a modern sounding album. James Murphy, awesome guy. This is actually the last album they will probably release. I don't know. They're disbanding soon. I don't know what he's going to do as a solo artist or as a producer, but he's a guy to watch out for. also found this, Voice by Funkadelic. It's a 2008 release with a lot of unreleased recordings from the 1970 period. Again, I haven't listened to this, but I just love early Funkadelic. This just was standing there and I just had to pick it up. Then an artist that doesn't get a lot of doesn't get featured in a lot of videos. It's Roy Ayers, or Ayers, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The album is called Ubiquity, and he's a jazz slash funk composer who has done a lot of stuff. I only have the soundtrack for Coffee by him, which is amazing, and I'm really looking forward to listening to this. I haven't turned this played this on the turntable yet, but I'm sure this is so that's Roy Ayers. The last record I have, it's a hip-hop album that I used to own on CD back in the day. This is from 1993. I think it was about 1993, 1994 that I owned this on CD. It's The Souls of Mischief with 93 Till Infinity. It's a double album, and I haven't played it again since all those days, but I know that I love it. It's got the title track is amazing. Batting Practice is really good. That's When You Lost. Sorry. You know, just a great jazzy hip hop album. So there you have it, Souls of Mischief, and that's my update.